This salsa is amazing.
Huh.
And that okra and tomatoes I was telling you I'm gonna make for you next time. You'll love that as well. This is a little spicy on a scale of 10, 3.5. So it's got a little kick.
Well, 3.5 ain't bad.
So what you do is you just ask people to subscribe and like and put on their notification tab and get people to help you by watching. So that's what I need to ask people, and I just did right there on film. So it's great to see you.
Yep.
And thanks for all the help.
Well, thank you for the tomatoes.
Be a little further in so we can get the gardening back.
Yeah.
If I make a video, I have people who watch those videos. Most of my videos are, you know, about fishing because I'm a fisherman.
Okay.
Camping, things like that. But I do a lot of cooking and I love to garden. I got a project going now where I'm not gonna go to the store for 1 year. I'll have a big bag of flour, butter, you know, whatever I can think of. I hunt and fish and collect in the woods, so that's the majority of where my food comes from. To be honest, it doesn't even feel like too much of a challenge. But right now I'm gonna make a salsa, which the salsa really is just the stewed tomatoes, but I'm gonna add some of these peppers, these really glorious peppers we've been getting. I'm really just going with what I have in the garden. Probably enough tomatoes, but I have enough extra to make probably 8 pints of garden salsa. What I have here are 4 limes. I don't know, I just have some onions. I don't want it to be too much onion in there. I'd almost rather have a little more garlic. I'm gonna chop this very fine. I don't want to puree it. When you puree the onions, they just get too strong, in my opinion. And then I have a variety of peppers from the garden. Jalapeno, serrano, poblano. I would think kosher salt would be fine, but in honor of the old school canning, I'm gonna use canning salt. I've got a few extra, just you know, extra odds and ends of tomatoes that I saved. This is stewed tomato. We'll add all that. God, that smells good. Tomatoes, onion, garlic, variety of peppers, whatever you have on hand. A little bit of salt, and that really is enough. We need to make this quick because I'm in a hurry. Let's go. Don't quite have the luxury of a stove out here. The lighting's really poor inside, so we're gonna make this outdoors without much for resources. I've got boiling water enough probably for all these tomatoes. I wish I had a little more now that I look at it. There's easy ways and there's hard ways, and right now this is probably the hardest way, but no big deal. It's not that many. We're gonna blanch and peel these tomatoes. I'm in a hurry and I'm doing this one-handed. Cool it down as best you can. If you have a kitchen and you have ice water, like I say, easier ways to do this. Let those cool while I prep everything else here. And I really need to figure out a tripod. Prep the limes first. Get all the juice out of the lime too. Cut the center out. These aren't exactly my tools, but they are 2 nice knives. If you don't have a steel, use the back of a knife. It really does work. Stick with three limes. That looks like it's going to be enough. Next, just prep my peppers and onions. Onions are beautiful. Not huge, but they're nice. Save all the ends for game stock. Small dice as I can get. Looking at that, I think I'm just gonna do 1 white onion and 1 red onion. That looks like enough. Next, we're gonna put 2 cloves, big cloves of garlic in. The more you smash it, the more you handle it, the stronger it is. So I'm just gonna do sort of a medium smash. It's kind of a heavy one. Just bring a little more flavor out of that garlic. I'm gonna put this on the stove and just cook it just a little bit, not a whole lot. And then I've got a half hour of peeling tomatoes. A little olive oil is what I used. You can cook with olive oil. Just cook the garlic and onions. Just get them cooking. Takes 5 minutes. Low plus heat. Just keep them cooking for 5 minutes. Olive oil. I'm going to do the same with the peppers. And then I'm going to start adding my tomatoes. And then really all it is stewed tomatoes, salsa sauce, tomato sauce, peppers. I think I'm okay if I have a few bigger chunks of pepper. Chunky salsa, that's fine. We're gonna cook that for 5 minutes. Just get it started, that's it. And then we gotta get those tomatoes in there and then we're totally golden. This is a fully mature cilantro plant. They don't last very long once they get mature. This plant was starting to bolt, starting to age a little bit. I find that cilantro gets stronger at that point. Now, that being said, it's beautiful and it is totally rich and flavorful. I normally don't get too worried about picking cilantro too much, but because this plant is mature, it's got some thick stems. I'm going to put half of this in cooking with the peppers and onions, and the other half at the end when the sauce is cooling. With the Roma tomatoes, you take the core out and you can squeeze it right out. So that's it. Cook this for a half hour. I prefer tomato sauces over fresh tomatoes. That's why I like to grow tomatoes. All right, that's it. Took me about maybe 15 minutes. I would like to chunk them up a little bit. I mean, they'll cook down in a half hour, a little more than a half hour. Those tomatoes will be cooked down plenty. I'm just going to run the hand mixer lightly in there for just to break it down just a little bit. A rough chop. I'm going to add as many of these tomatoes as I can to really work this pot. If I have left over, I'm just going to can some stewed tomatoes. The good news is we've got a lot more tomatoes here than I thought. 3 quarts of stewed tomatoes, so outstanding. Probably should have just done it that way from the get-go. Just hand chop these. Salsa's made. Let's add some salt. You have your sauce cooking. At the same time, turn on the water for the bath and turn on the oven to sterilize your jars. 200 degrees, 1/4 cup vinegar for a pot like that. Vinegar, lime juice. Okay, there we have it. If I had any more time, I would let these tomatoes cook a little bit more. Just gonna keep it nice and thick, but it smells heavenly, absolutely magnificent. A little more salt, but delicious. Let it cool, and I will can her up. Day 2 salsa making. Have a little more time right now. Didn't get to everything yesterday. I got everything made and I was happy with how it went. I can explain canning in a little more depth than I would have yesterday if I would have hurried the whole thing. A bonus, today we're going to cook ourselves a little okra and tomatoes. I want to brown this okra a little bit. If I was going to just roast it, like I say, toss a little oil, salt, pepper, I would cut it like that, but since I have not much room to work with, I'm going to go brown this on the stovetop inside. So we ended up with a fair amount of some start of a pretty tasty salsa. That looks fantastic. Probably need a little more salt. But what I think I am going to do, I don't really, this would be the only thing I might be apprehensive about, but I'm going to toss a tablespoon cayenne pepper in there. Juice. And cilantro. Gotta take a break. Gotta go brown up my okra. Okay, we're back at it. Got our okra and tomatoes cooking, and boy, it's as good as it gets there. Overnight, I chilled it only because I didn't have time to can it. I've added the juice of 3 limes, tablespoon of cayenne, tablespoon of salt. I ran the hand mixer on these tomatoes, and I'm just going to add these and I also saved 1 jar of stewed tomatoes for a venison shoulder that I have thawing out. Stewed tomatoes, candy. Oh my god, that is so good. Salsa, let's see how it is. Most amazing salsa I've ever had in my life. That is so good. I hate to even can it. It's so fresh and beautiful. So there you have it. Really the best salsa you can get. And really all you need to do is grow everything yourself. Bring it from the garden right to the table. And just a little bit of zest to it with that cayenne. That's a winner all the way around. We're going to heat this up. I have 8 pint jars, maybe 7 pint jars in the oven at 200 degrees, sterilizing. You can rest assured that you can can any tomato product with complete confidence that you'll be safe and that it will last. So let's get going. That is okra and tomatoes. Just the flavors together. The final stage of salsa making is salsa canning. We've got our salsa pretty hot. We're going to take sterilized pint jars, fill these half inch from the top. A couple pints left. I'll probably just refrigerate, keep on hand. General canning, it's all the same, very simple. Just make sure that the rims are clean. These jars are hot. I'm going to put lids and rings, just enough to squeeze and get the seal started. In the hot water bath for 40 minutes. 40 minutes plenty. I think that's the guideline, is 40 minutes. I'm sure you could get by with 20. Joyce and Janet do not even do a hot water bath at all. They've been doing it for 50 years. They just get everything hot all at once, everything seals, and they're good to go. Well, the one thing I will say about the salsa, I don't think you'll ever find a better one. It's simple, delicious. Really, the only thing is you just have to have a little bit of, well, a fair amount of determination to get a successful garden going. But I encourage anybody to do that, especially if you want to, you know, avoid the van. And it's just better than anything you can buy in a grocery store, no doubt about it. Where we are and what we do, we can have the opportunity to not only get a lot of garden fresh vegetables, but we've got a huge variety of fish and game in this area, and I know how to go get it. So